All right, everybody, time for some trapezoid examples. Um, so we're gonna have this trapezoid, or this trapezoids and kites. We're gonna have this trapezoid example where we have a quadrilateral. It's quadrilateral A, B, C, D, and we need to determine whether or not it is a trapezoid. I'm going to claim that we don't even need to graph this to find out. Because for a trapezoid, what we need to verify is that any of the two opposite sides are parallel. And if any two opposite sides are, then this is indeed a trapezoid, as long as the other ones aren't, because then it's a parallelogram. So let's just investigate the slopes of these lines. Keep in mind, this is not whatsoever drawn to scale with the points they gave us. I was just drawing a shape so that we knew how the sides were connecting. We're not going to want to test out the slope between A and C, for example, because that's not going to tell us anything. But let's start with AB. I'll start with B as my y2 and x2, and A will be my x1, y1. So for AB, our slope is 4 minus 4, which is 0, over 4 minus 0, which is 4, which means it's 0. Let's look at BC next. So BC, start at C, go to B. So we have negative 2 minus 4, that's negative 6, over 8 minus 4, which is 4, gives us a slope of negative 3 halves. Let's move on to CD next. Start with D, go to C. So we have 1 minus negative 2, which is 3, and we have 2 minus 8, which is negative 6. That gives us negative 1 half. And then we have AD. Start with D, go to A. So we have 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. And we have 2 minus 0, which is 2. That's negative 3 halves. So as we can see, AD and BC do have the same slope. The other two sides don't. And if we look at where these are, AD and BC are across from each other. Here's AD, here's BC. Since those have the same slope and the other two don't, this is a trapezoid. If you had a question like this on a test or a quiz, or you wanted to, you wanted to prove that something was happening, this would be the kind of work that you would want to show. It's kind of like our coordinate proofs almost that we had. All right, so that is trapezoid. Keep in mind that the other side of trapezoid problems tend to be ones where you're given an isosceles trapezoid, and maybe you'll be given that this angle is 77, and you'll have to find out this angle, or sometimes these angles. Just remember that these two angles are congruent, these two angles are congruent, these two are, and these two are. So you'll be able to solve problems using 360 equals this and this and this, and it's similar to problems that you've already seen before in the past. For a kite, what we need to remember is that two of the angles are the same, two of them are different. So, for example, here's the angle between the two sides that are different, which means that that angle and the one across from it are congruent, making this one 110. And we need to find this angle here. Well, knowing that that angle across is 110, and knowing that since this is a quadrilateral, all the angles add up to 360, we just need to figure out how many degrees we already have and subtract it. 110 plus 110 is 220. 220 plus 60 is 280. So it's 360 minus 280, which gives us 80 degrees. And that's G. So that's good. This one, find the side lengths of the kite. Important to remember that these lengths are the same and these lengths are the same, so that we only end up doing half of the work. Pythagorean theorem will come in handy here. Let's find the missing side length for this one. 6 squared is 36, plus 4 squared is 16. 36 plus 16 is 52. And that will be the last side right here, squared. So that means that C is square root of 52, which means that this is square root of 52, which means that this is also square root of 52. For the other one, similar process. We're going to do this triangle next to get that missing side here. 6 is 36. Well, 6 squared is 36. 12 squared is 144. Add those together, and you get 180, which would be the hypotenuse squared. So then the hypotenuse is square root of 180. I could reduce these into simple radical form, but I'm choosing not to at the moment. Directions didn't tell me I had to, so I'm just leaving it as the pure radical that it is. So those are both square root of 180, and that problem is done. And that's all I have for the examples for these two. So, hope you enjoyed. Good luck with all the problems.